Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Auntie Julie Jansen, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Congratulations, all graduates. Thank you very much for allowing me to talk to you today. On behalf of the Darug people, I welcome you to this country of the Watamatigal clan of the Darug Aboriginal Nation. Kwaibidja, Jamna, Payala, Janawi, come, we speak together. I am Julie Jansen of the Burrabarungal clan of Darug Nation. We are the Hawkesbury River people. I pay respects to the local Aboriginal elders, past and present, and to the ancestors of the land, the knowledge and culture. I welcome peoples of all nations and faiths. Help us to respect the history and protect the environment. I'm a descendant of Mary Thomas, born at Freeman's Reach Blacks Camp near Windsor. I grew up near here in Boronia Park on the banks of the Lane Cove River. I love this Ryde area. It has a very special place in Aboriginal Australian history. There are 20,000 years of Aboriginal habitation on this coastal area. At Avalon Beach, there is a rock shelter near where I live with a burial site that is 2,500 years old. It is a woman and a baby. The woman has a gypsum cap on her head. She is a skeleton that has been reburied. We have a great antiquity. My Aboriginal grandmother, Ruby, kept a house in the bush in Chatswood in the 1950s that had 20 members of our family living there. It was a small farm with horses, goats, chickens and rabbits, just down the road from this university. The old house is still there in View Street. We would sit down to big roast dinners on a Sunday with as many as 30 people who would be crammed around the table. My dad, who was known as Jeddah, was a returned serviceman from World War II, and he rode bareback down to the river to shoot rabbits for dinner. Dad was paying off a War Service Housing Commission home. From there we would go collecting oysters along the Lane Cove River mudflats. My brothers and I fished for blue swimmer crabs and fish. We rode our leaky rowboat on the river and dropped homemade crab pots off the Riverview School Wharf. We camped on weekends at Flint and Steel Beach in the Ku-ring-gai National Park, where we slept in a cave on beds made of ferns and army greatcoats. Near to this university is Marsfield, where there were many old Aboriginal men camped up near the mangroves. They were the remaining few Watamatigal Darug people who'd managed to hang on in the face of suburban development in the 1950s. The Aboriginal people survived in Ryde by working for local farms and businesses. They were related to the people of the Gully in Katoomba, Freeman's Reach Black Camp, Sackville Reach Reserve, Murra Creek on the Hawkesbury, and the Narrabeen Camp on Narrabeen Lagoon. These camps were bulldozed, mostly by local councils in about 1959. Dispossession and dispersal, in some cases, is relatively recent. I remember those times. Since the 1880s, the Aboriginal Protection Board had overseen the destruction of families by removal of children and the closing of Aboriginal reserves. We were told to keep our Aboriginal heritage a secret. Families like mine survived by working for the railways, or in my dad's case, the fire brigade. However, such jobs came at a price. Identity was often hidden for fear of children being taken away. We kept quiet about being little white blackfellas. I received a government Teachers College scholarship and went to university, receiving 2 bachelor degrees and a master's degree. Our Burrabarungal clan had famous leaders such as Chief Yarramundi, Nurraginji and Colby, who received land from Lachlan Macquarie. On the northern beaches nearby, we celebrate Chief Bungaree, who circumnavigated Australia with Matthew Flinders, and Bungaree's wives, Queen Matora, and the renowned storyteller, Queen Gooseberry. Many of the descendants of these Darug and Ku-ring-gai people live here today along the Hawkesbury and Lane Cove rivers and around this area. We did not die out, and we are here to celebrate with you our ongoing attachment and custodianship of this country. Thank you for allowing me the honour of representing the Darug Nation here, and congratulations to all graduates. You deserve it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce the Chancellor of Macquarie University, the Honourable Michael Egan, AO.
Well, thank you, Auntie Julie, for that marvellous welcome to country. Well, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and I heard one baby out the back there. I don't know why parents hide their babies. Simone, why don't you go and get that baby and demand that it come back in? Because it won't bother anyone. And what we've learned from experience is that if a baby cries during a graduation ceremony, they're back within 25 years to take out their first PhD. So please invite that baby back. Well, the first thing I want to do is thank all of you for coming today. Graduation is a very important celebration of achievement, the achievements of our graduands, and I might say also of the university. So it is very good that you're here, and I'm very grateful to all of you that you are here. Now, the most important thing today is that our graduands have a great day, because university graduation is a very, very significant event in someone's life. It marks a great achievement, and it is really worth celebrating. And I always tell our graduating groups that they have, that they have absolutely nothing to feel worried about at a ceremony, because most of the younger groups all look terrified as though they're about to go into the exam room. Now, I must say my impression when I walked in this afternoon was quite different. You all looked a very happy and relaxed group, and that's how it should be. So I'm really pleased to see that you're all here looking so happy. A graduation, of course, is not an easy thing. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind, you need determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. So welcome and congratulations to each and every one of you. Today I also want to congratulate all of you who are here as the guests of our graduands. The fact that you have been invited by one of our graduands to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been very important in their lives and in the successes that we celebrate today. And I don't want you to think either that observing today's graduation is the end of your role, because I have another very important service for you to perform for our newest graduates, as they will soon become. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in a bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our graduands are too self-effacing to proclaim their success, please, you make sure that you do it for them. Now, the ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduands are wearing today, and participating in ceremonies just like this one. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world which can trace their history back more than 500 years. Now, it won't surprise you, I hope, to learn that Macquarie is not one of those 500. We're a very young university. We celebrated our Jubilee, our 50th Jubilee, only 3 years ago. We proudly take our name from Australia's greatest colonial governor, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose greatness and achievements were never acknowledged by his contemporaries, but only by history. Those of us who went to school here in New South Wales were taught that Macquarie was a great builder, but his greatest legacy had nothing to do with bricks and mortar. His greatest legacy was the ethos he established, much to the annoyance of the British authorities at the time, of an egalitarian society, because it was Macquarie's insistence that in this fledgling convict colony there be no distinction between the free and the freed, that was the foundation of the Australian notion of a fair go for all. And that is a legacy that here at Macquarie we will always aim to maintain and honour. After our first 53 years, we now have more than 180,000 Macquarie graduates living in more than 140 countries. Macquarie is a very modern and outward-looking university. We're now ranked in the top 2% of the world's universities. From our beginnings, we have defied the traditional boundaries of academia. We've pioneered and continue to pioneer learning and teaching approaches that challenge conventions and shift thinking. Our students play a major role in their own learning and are empowered to guide what and how they learn. We're also research pioneers. Our framework for the future, world-leading research with world-changing impact, is brought to life by renowned researchers whose bold and innovative solutions to issues of global significance are of enormous benefit to the world we live in. And by the way, that is not an idle boast. I wonder how many of you are aware that Wi-Fi was developed not at Harvard University or Oxford University or the Australian National University. No, Wi-Fi was developed by Macquarie University scientists in conjunction with CSIRO scientists. And that's something of which I think we can be very proud. We're also rather proud of some of our new facilities. You may have seen our Macquarie University Hospital on your way here today. It's only a few years old, and it forms part of a very exciting medical enterprise, which when fully established will be Australia's first fully integrated academic health sciences centre under a university's leadership. We are the only university in Australia that owns and operates its own hospital. And I can tell you it's a fantastic hospital too. I was a patient there a few years ago for 3 days, and the standard of care and attention is absolutely first rate, especially when you're the Chancellor, so I commend it to you. Other outstanding new facilities include our library, our Australian Hearing Hub, which is the world's leading institute in hearing and language sciences, a state-of-the-art media centre, a newly launched simulation hub for teaching and research, and cutting-edge science laboratories. Now, that's not to say that all of our facilities and laboratories and lecture rooms are first class. Many are not, but we plan to do something about that. And in the next decade, you will see more than $2 billion of new investment on this campus. And in fact, even today, you can see some of the temporary facilities that are being built or erected on campus, which will enable us to move out of some of the old facilities that we've got and have them completely rebuilt. So we're looking forward, and we're very much on the move. Here at Macquarie, we have a very clear and straightforward mission, and that mission is to transform people's lives and to improve the lives not just of our own students, but also of people all around the globe by the work and achievements of our graduates and by the fruit of our research. We want Macquarie always to be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And graduands, in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Well, now it's my very great pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Ms. Anna Louise Bouvier. Anna Louise is the creator of the multi-award-winning Happy Body at Work program. This joint venture with ABC Commercial has been rolled out to over 40,000 people in organisations as diverse as Optus, PricewaterhouseCoopers, the Commonwealth Bank, ANZ, Vic Health, Lendlease and Macquarie University. She's a regular on the ABC radio program with James Valentine, is an expert on Channel 7's new House of Wellness on the Today Show, and was an expert on the ABC's Making Couples Happy and Making Australia Happy. She's released 3 DVDs and 3 best-selling books. She's also the creator of PhysioScience, which over the past 20 years has taught over 66 classes to people with bad backs and wobbly bodies. She's consulted to the Waratahs, the Brumbies and Wallabies on overuse injuries. She's also an ambassador for September. And despite all that, occasionally she's not able to keep herself out of trouble, as she might tell us in a moment or two. But all I can say is we're very lucky to have her here this afternoon, because for a moment or two this morning it looked as though that might not be the case. I now invite Anna Louise to deliver the Australian address. Please give her a big welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, you know how you wake up some mornings and you feel like you've been hit by a bus? Well, this morning I woke up and I felt very, very chirpy, and I was kind of totally fine. And then I went into town for an early meeting in Macquarie Street. I walked down to Castlereagh Street, and I was standing on the curb waiting for a cab. And as I did, a bus came past. There's a tree, a metal thing, sideswiped me, hit me, and ran me into the tree. So I've got a big bruise on my chin, and I've got a good physio-sized bandage on my knee. So there you go. As one of my colleagues at the ABC said, some people will say anything to get away from domestic violence. So in fact, it is absolutely fantastic to be here today. I feel incredibly honoured. I've had a lot to do with Macquarie University over the last few years, because we've been working with Professor Kath Dean, Associate Professor Taryn Jones. In the past I've worked with Associate Professor Mark Hancock and many of the physiotherapy team. What are we doing? Is it not coming through? Yeah, is that better? Yeah? Okay. And with many of the Macquarie University team working in the area of research, and the more that I look at the Macquarie Uni course, you know, the depth of the course, the amount of thought that's gone into it, you know, you guys may not even realise that what you've been given is the most incredible breadth of information on lots of different levels that will really allow you to kind of go way beyond you ever thought you would. I can remember when I was at my own graduation, which it frightens me to say is nearly 30 years ago now, but I can remember sitting there listening to this professor, and she had a fabulous floppy hat, and she was telling us about her enormous, you know, illustrious career. And I remember there sitting there and thinking, well, that's fine. I know what I'm going to be. I'm going to be an elite physiotherapist to a sports team, to an elite sports team. That's what I'm going to do, and this is going to be my career, and I'm going to be great at it. Well, I started working in elite sport, and it's great, but it turns out you're actually more like a panel beater. You kind of put people back together, and the next day they go and bang themselves up again. So as the years went on, I then started working in chronic recurrent pain. I went from there, we created PhysioScience, which was kind of a groundbreaking new thing. And then I went into books and DVDs and all sorts of things that I would never have thought I could go into. And so I was thinking, as I was preparing your speech today, I thought, what could I tell you that in your career, you're going to have a whole lot of kind of sliding door moments. And to help you to kind of think about when you get to those moments, what are things that I think would have really helped me to know about? So there's 5 things that basically I would say. The first is step through doors. There's going to be people who see more in you than you would even see in yourself. They're going to be people who say, why don't you take this opportunity? Why don't you try and do something? And often you'll think, because you come from an evidence base, that there is absolutely no evidence that you can actually do the thing that they're asking you to do. But over the years, if you do it, and as a great colleague of mine said the other day, who's now one of the most senior people in the health department, she said, and do it, continue until apprehended. And I thought that was a great sort of thing to say, because sometimes you'll feel like you are a bit of an imposter. But in fact, this clinical reasoning, these amazing skills that you've been taught will carry you into lots of different directions. The second thing I would say is,
as you're going through those doors, continue to learn, because filling up your cup with constant knowledge, keeping yourself up to date, surrounding yourself with people who know more than you do, is a really fantastic way to keep your inspiration around what you're doing. You'll find that it's also good to surround yourself with people who don't agree with you. I found that we've just recently made an app, and I'm now working in digital development, and as we were making this app, there's a guy called Josh who's 30 but looks much, much younger. And as we were making this app, Josh kept saying to me, I'd say, this is going to be fantastic, we're going to make this app, it's going to be about energy and mood and stress and sleep, and it's going to be brilliant. And he goes, well, that's boring. And I went, what? It's fantastic, it's about energy. And he goes, well, that's boring, what's in it for me? And I went, well, Josh, you could learn something. And he goes, no, there's got to be something in it for me. And so bit by bit, even though Josh drove me nearly mental, the course of the app is sensational, because Josh didn't just say to me, yes, Eloise, whatever you agree with, by challenging me to actually see the world through someone else's eyes that isn't interested in health or well-being, we actually got a much better outcome. So as you're proceeding through doors and you're learning, one of the other things that will happen is that you will make mistakes. And some of those mistakes will be not too much, and others will be terrible. And at other times as well, you will fail. And don't be afraid at those times. If you reflect on those things, it's actually a time where you will probably learn the most in your life. Because in those points of failure and in those mistakes, you will actually find that if you reflect on them, you will probably grow far, far more than if you just puddled along doing quite well. I remember my biggest probably mistake was about your age, probably the year before you graduated. So actually this is in my undergraduate, so say I was 22 and 21, and I was in intensive care as a student, and we had this lovely patient who just had coronary bypass surgery, and they gave it to the physio student to walk this patient. How hard can that be, I said. So I sort of set him up, and he had his gown and he had his his bag, and I put all his tubes in place, and I thought, okay, Mr. Brown, here we go. And so I got Mr. Brown, and he took his first step, and it turns out I had my foot on his catheter. And so consequently, Mr. Brown made some very, very loud noises, as you can imagine, and student physios were banned from ICU for a period of time after that. Now, I learned something very, very important from that mistake, and one of those things is I probably was never destined to work in the hospital system, and I never did again. So, as you're learning, not being apprehended, going through doors, and you're also making mistakes, the next thing I would say to you is always see yourself in someone else's shoes. That's probably the most important thing, I think, as a health professional, is so often what we do is it's a world of shoulds. You should be exercising, you should be doing this, you should be eating well, you should be having beautiful posture, whatever it is. But in fact, health professionals are really about seeing yourself through that person's eyes. What is the value that I can bring to this relationship, to bring this person on a journey? I spoke at an allied health leadership conference recently, and there was a fantastic Indigenous podiatrist there. And he said, he was talking about exercise for diabetes. And he was saying, when I go and I talk to some of these young people in Aboriginal communities and I tell them they've got diabetes, the first thing they think of is that everybody they know that's over 60 with diabetes is dead, or they've lost a foot. And he said, so for me to say you should be exercising when that diagnosis immediately brings to mind to that person that maybe I'm going to lose my foot or die, means that I have to think of that relationship in a completely different way. And I thought, whether we're making apps and I'm thinking about Josh not finding any value from what I say, or whether we're thinking about people in Indigenous communities, if you can put yourself into your patient or your students or the public system, the public health, if that's what you're going into, then that will give you extraordinary value. And the final thing I would say is be grateful that you've gone into a career that changes people's lives. I think, as you grow along in your career, you will find that often in health, that we don't make as much money as your friends who do business or economics or things like that. And I've heard a lot of my friends say, my God, we've done all this study and yet, you know, maybe I should have gone into consulting or something like that. But what you'll find is that the personal meaning and value that you get out of what we do by being able to really impact people's lives on lots of different levels, whether you go through research or surgery, whether you're a physio, whether you go through public health. I can remember in my entire career, maybe 5 days in my whole career, that I would say that I haven't loved what I do. So I would say to you, this is the start of a wonderful career for you all. I hope that, you know, as you go through those sliding door moments, and as you step on Mr. Brown's catheter, God forbid you won't, but as you make mistakes and you grow and learn, that you really celebrate the fact that you have a really, truly magnificent career thanks to this incredible faculty, which is Macquarie University. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Anna Louise, for a fantastic occasional address. I'm sure graduands will agree that there was some great advice there. And Anna Louise is quite right. You can make a huge difference in your life. And very often it's the little things you do as much as the big things that can make the difference for people. There was, as I said, a lot of good advice there, including the unexpected advice that if you're in a hospital, don't step on the catheter. That's worth remembering. But also, I think the second piece of advice she gave us, which was to proceed until apprehended, is fantastic. Don't be shy about trying things. And more often than not, you'll find that you have succeeded. Whereas if you were a little bit timid, you might not have made that success. I think Anna Louise deserves another great round of applause. And also, I think we should find out what happened to the bus, because I suspect it's probably in a much worse shape than Anna Louise. Let's give her another great round of applause. Well, we now come to the key part of the ceremony, the reason that we're here. That is the conferring of degrees. And whilst I said earlier there's nothing for you to worry about, this is the one part of the ceremony that makes me a little bit nervous, because I was informed by a good friend of mine years ago, who subsequently became the Chief Justice of New South Wales, that if I conferred a degree on someone who was not eligible to receive it, it was very, very, very difficult for me to take it back. So I need an absolute ironclad assurance from our acting registrar down there that you're all qualified to receive your degree today, and that none of you were ever late in submitting an assignment, and that none of you ever skipped a class. Can you please give me that assurance?
Chancellor, I certify that all the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees please stand up?
Graduands, in the name of the Council of Macquarie University and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Will you please be seated? Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. I now call on Professor Patrick McNeill, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, to present the graduates. Professor McNeill.
Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, the University's fifth and newest faculty. There are 4 departments in the faculty: Biomedical Sciences, Clinical Medicine, Health Professions, and Health Systems and Populations, as well as a research institute, the Australian Institute of Health Innovation. The faculty is a core component of Macquarie University Health Sciences Centre, known as MQ Health, which as the Chancellor has told us, is a unique academic health enterprise in Australia, as Macquarie is the only university that integrates its learning and research with clinical practice here on campus at our own Macquarie University Hospital and MQ Health clinics. MQ Health provides the opportunity for students enrolled within the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences to learn or to undertake research in an environment where real clinical practice is occurring. The faculty is proud of the way it integrates its learning and its health and medical research with patient care, captured by the purpose of MQ Health in 3 words: heal, learn, discover. Students in the faculty are studying undergraduate degrees, specifically the Bachelor of Clinical Science, or a number of postgraduate coursework or research degrees. These include graduate diplomas, the Master of Public Health, the Master of Research, the Doctor of Physiotherapy, our new graduate entry medical degree, the Doctor of Medicine, which commences next year, the Doctor of Advanced Medicine or Surgery, and our premium research degree, the Doctor of Philosophy. Chancellor, the majority of the graduates to be presented today are graduating from the faculty's Doctor of Physiotherapy, which is the only extended Master's Physiotherapy degree in the state and one of only 3 in Australia. I will also be presenting graduates who have completed their research degrees at Master's and doctorate levels. So, Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences whom you have admitted to degrees. Vanessa Aid. Catherine Melissa Alava Bravo. Kosikan Beadle. Christopher Patrick Beckmans. Hannah Kate Bombell. Dejan Brickick. David Isaac Burt. Douglas Capel. Meredith Rose Chappell, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Michael Adam Kramer. Frederick Oradej Dejranshi. Timothy John Farris, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Dominic Fitzgerald, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Hannah Kate Graham. Najishiki Upalangani Gunawaranina. Katie Hart, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Laura Elise Hill, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Riley Frederick Hoare. Sarah Louise Hurley. Jialu Jiang. Janana Kadrich. Petra Langen-Stark. Michael David Laporte. Paul Lee. Jenkin Kimberly Balingit Liao. Sally Mann. Andrew James May. Caitlin Maria McCormick. Patrick Mark McNamara, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. David Michael McWilliams. Lauren Rose Macquarie. Sean David Miller. Zach Mukadim. Fadi Najjar. Emily Carolyn Nash. Emily Ann Oyako. Lawrence Edward Leslie Ollerton. Joshua Duncan Parker. Madeline Reimer. Dario Joseph Rossi. Fletcher David Rowe. Kanika Sabina. Christina Salvestro. Dale Shelwick. Stefan Alois Schellmeyer. Alexandra Michaela Shura. Ruwindi Satung. Peter Jamison Sharp. Angus James Fleet Simpson. Nicola Mary Simpson. Hannah Stone. Harris Nicholas Tambakis. Alice Kate Tulloch. Kevin Wong. Matthew Ryan Williamson. Vasilios Kagaris. Chancellor, I present the diplomate awarded the Graduate Diploma of Anatomy. Claudia Villanueva. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Research. Christiana Ludlow. Chancellor, for a thesis entitled The Effects of Hearing Loss on Preferences for Shared Decision-Making in Residential Aged Care, a Mixed Methods Approach. Preeti Manandar for a thesis entitled The Effect of Opioids on the Signalling of the mu opioid receptor and Some Variants. Luke Tester for a thesis entitled Intensive Care Nurse Perceptions of Family-Centred End-of-Life Care and Quality of Dying. Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. David Ian Cantor for a thesis entitled The Alpha V Beta 6 integrin plays an integral role in promoting metastatic phenotypes in colorectal cancer. Dr. Nitin Chitransi for a thesis entitled Molecular Mechanisms of Neuronal Death in Glaucoma, Development of a Gene Therapy Approach for Neuroprotection. Dr. Yosine Debee for a thesis entitled Estrogen and Progesterone in the Kynurenine Pathway. Dr. Anna Markutsi for a thesis entitled A Comprehensive Evaluation of Somatosensory Function in Acute Low Back Pain and Pain-Free Individuals using Quantitative Sensory Testing. And Dr. Shamala Tahir for a thesis entitled Bacterial Biofilms in Healthcare, Transmission and Control. Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences.
Chancellor, I call on Dr. Timothy John Farris, who has graduated today with a Doctor of Physiotherapy, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Dr. Farris.
Chancellor, members of the University, fellow graduates, families and friends. It is a great privilege to stand before you today and speak on behalf of the graduates assembled here before us. This day marks a celebration of what has been a long and challenging road for all of us, but we've made it. Congratulations. When I started on the journey of becoming a physio through Macquarie University, I expected to be in a challenging, interesting and hands-on environment where I would acquire high-quality skills which would set me apart from other physiotherapy graduates. What I did not expect was the flexibility, support and range of opportunities offered by the faculty and the university at large. The practice-driven focus of the degree and the positive culture that is driven by passionate teaching staff who are not only leaders but mentors and have now become colleagues and friends. I did not anticipate, perhaps naively, the amount of work it would actually take to do well in this degree. Whilst these are my own experiences, I know that these are also experiences shared by my fellow graduates today. On behalf of myself and the fellow graduates before you, I would like to take the opportunity to extend our thanks to the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences for challenging us to become lifelong learners, critical thinkers, effective advocates for our profession, our clients, and the patients in the wider community. And also for equipping us with more than just clinical skills. We all have the foundations here to create opportunities far beyond this university. The journey is never a lonely one, however, and would not have been possible without the support networks that we have around us, including our fellow colleagues, friends, and family. I would like to extend a sincere thanks to all of the people in the background who have made today's celebration possible, supporting us through what has been a demanding and often challenging path. Thank you for the encouragement when things got tough. Thank you for the constructive feedback, and thank you for believing in us and helping ensure that we made it here today. To my fellow graduates, I would like to say the last 3 years have been far from smooth sailing for most of us. Each of us has faced a crisis or two, or several. And at one stage or another, we've all overcome this. Personally, I'd like to thank you for being a supportive and caring group of people whose drive and ambition, I have no doubt, will leave a mark in the health sector in Australia and beyond. Collectively, we've learned that the path is not always smooth, but we've also demonstrated that dedication, collaboration, and an open mind, as well as determination, goes a long way to achieving our goals. I encourage all of us to keep striving, keep learning, looking for ways to be better versions of ourselves. I'd like to leave you with the wise words of Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Congratulations, and thank you again.
Well, congratulations, Tim, on your speech, and congratulations, of course, on your Doctor of Physiotherapy degree. I'm sure that you will spend a lifetime helping a lot of people, and I wish you all the very best, and I hope you maintain a long association with Macquarie University. I think Tim deserves another great round of applause. Well, now, that wasn't too bad, was it? That glorious voice, ladies and gentlemen, belongs to Angela Brewer. And I was trying to think, listening to her this afternoon, how many times I've heard her sing, and it would be almost 300 times. And every time I hear her sing, she still takes my breath away. I think you've been very fortunate that Angela was singing at your graduation today. She sings at most of them, but every now and again she can't make it. And so you were one of the lucky ones, because when she can't come, I do the singing. I think she needs another great round of applause. And so too to our fabulous musicians, Melanie McLaughlin on the trumpet over there. And Dr. James Forsyth on the organ. And sitting next to them, and also one or two on this side, are some of our alumni volunteers who come along to make sure that everything runs smoothly at your graduation. I'm sure you'd like to thank them too. And behind me are representatives of our academic community who have been very, very important for your progress here at Macquarie University. I'm sure you'd like to thank them too. Well, graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one stage in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it is certainly not the end of your association with Macquarie. From today on, for the rest of your lives, you are part of the bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of the network of 180,000 Macquarie alumni spanning the globe. We'll keep in touch with you through our alumni program, which is focused on lifelong learning, lifelong support, and lifelong connections. Our commitment to you is to help you keep in touch and engaged with Macquarie throughout your life. And please do make sure that you come back to Macquarie, either to undertake more study, attend our alumni events, or even use our aquatic and fitness facilities, or sometimes, as many people do, particularly during graduation periods, just come back to enjoy a picnic down by our lake. Well, graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges. But like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. Believe it or not, you, each and every one of you, can change the world. And you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner either to do it, because almost everything you do in your homes, in your workplaces, and in your communities matters and can make a huge difference. The consequences of every effort, every action, large or small, can reverberate throughout society through the decades, indeed the centuries. Even something as simple as a kind word or a kind gesture can often be the spark that ignites a great life or a great career or a great achievement. So as Chancellor of Macquarie University, I charge you to use what you have learned, not only for your own benefit, but also for the betterment of the community. I charge you to use the skills and knowledge you have acquired with rigour and integrity, and to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry. I charge you to recognise the worth and dignity of all people, particularly those who have not had the opportunities that you've enjoyed. I charge you to set high goals and to continue the hard work that has brought you so far. I charge you, wherever you go with all your heart, and in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. Graduates, I hope also that you'll always remember the people who've helped you along the way, many of whom, of course, are here with you today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm now going to ask you to do a couple of things. Graduates, would you now please stand? Now I'd like you to put your degrees on the seats behind you so that your hands are free, and I'd like you to turn to face your families and friends. And now I invite you to give them a mighty round of applause. Now, graduates can turn around now, but don't sit down. We'll be leaving in just a moment, but please do remember to take your degrees with you. Ladies and gentlemen, shortly I will lead the official party out through the centre aisle, and it will be my great honour to invite our newest graduates to join the procession down the middle aisle and down through the park down to the Macquarie. And then I hope you will all join us for some light refreshments down at the Macquarie. We have some refreshments for adults, and we also, for children, have some ice cream and fairy floss, both pink and blue, and it's not just for the children either. So please do join us. I would now invite everyone to please stand, and please remain standing until the last of the graduates have processed out. Well, graduates, I wish you the very best for the future. And in the words of the old Irish blessing, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Graduates, good luck.